Hello, YouTube. We see, as of right now, I'm not totally sure what to be doing with the channel. I am writing something to present, but until then, I remembered that a couple years back, I had this class called Speech and Debate, and in that class, I had to do a little presentation of sorts, or a speech, I guess. It was supposed to be memorized, but I didn't memorize it, and most of the kids didn't memorize their speech either, so whatever. But I did get first place for my speech. So anyway, I thought that until I have my to get some content rolling, I'd be doing the speech I made a while back. So on July 2nd, 1776, delegates from the 13 colonies met together and unanimously voted on birthing a nation, free from the tyrannical rule of the British Empire, and a nation that promises all men are created equal. This nation, the United States of America, has faced many hardships throughout its history, such as the War of 1812, because the British still did not respect our status as a nation. The Civil War, which put the experiment that was the United States to the test and seeing if this was the nation that truly could exist throughout the ages. To the First World War, where the world saw what would happen if you just plan on invading America. To World War II, when the whole world knew that America was a force to be reckoned with. You have the Cold War against communism, 9/11, the War on Terror. But never in our 243-year history, just a little side note, it's a little bit off because I did the math a while back. But anyway, never in its 243-year history has its people ever been so unpatriotic. And though the anti-federalists threatened to secede from the Union, they did so only because they did not want to be in a government in which they thought would be tyrannical. And the Southerners were very patriotic. The Americans united against the common enemy, the Japanese and the Nazis. Which then shifted to the tyrannical ideals of communism. But now today it seems that there is one ideology, one faction that wants to completely destroy what our nation stands for. The left, which has been wrongly associated with the liberals / Democrats. There are many things wrong with the left, and I wanna take some time to list some off. Before I move on, I want to note that I don't say Democrat in this, but I feel that now the lines are being really, really blurred. Anyway, first off, they claim that the Second Amendment only applies to muskets. Not only is this wrong, it just doesn't make not that much sense. Why? Because you have things such as the American long rifle. That is definitely not a musket. You also had flintlock pistols, not a musket. And, of course, cannons. Thomas Jefferson said to a person who was afraid of pirates attacking his ships that it was okay to arm them with their cannons. Which means that technically I should be allowed to have my Abram tank, my M4 Sherman. Darn you, government. Anyway, and the founding fathers, hold on, my bad. Not only that, but there were weapons that had rapid fire capabilities, and the founding fathers acknowledged weapons like that and were even fans of them. The Second Amendment applies to all guns. It's our big rainbow, or whatever. And on the topic of guns, they say that most school shootings are carried out using an assault rifle. And the AR and AR-15 stands for assault rifle. For one thing, the AR and AR-15 stands for Armalite Rifle, which is the company that makes the gun. And another thing, it's entirely stupid to shoot up a school with a bulky and large weapon. A Glock 17, which is a common pistol for law enforcement, would be more logical. It's concealable, there's less recoil, and it can actually be easier to aim since you have that less recoil. The founding fathers acknowledged these guns when they were writing the Second Amendment in the Constitution. Another, on my blog, I have a thing of 4 guns. You can go check that. Actually, it was in the other video. So yeah, go check the other video or my blog if you don't want to listen to 30 minutes of me rambling. Anyway, another thing they had in mind was a system for voting on presidents. One that kept in mind that if a system like this didn't exist, the smaller states' votes would be overshadowed by the much larger states. This system is the Electoral College. And some leftists / Democrats, if not all of them, want this abolished. Why? That's not proper grammar. But well, then what would happen? Well, California, New York, and Detroit, and Chicago basically control the entire nation. And Phoenix, and all the other, in general, all the states with a large population. And if that happened, the left would control our nation and they would have their way. They'd destroy the country then and turn it into a tyrannical society. But if this did somehow happen, then the right would rise up and the nation would be engaged in a civil war. Probably between Democrats and Republicans. But that itself is a topic for another day. Again, I'll talk about Civil War II in my other video. You can find it on the blog if, again, you don't want me to listen to 30 minutes of me rambling. Anyway, on the topic of Civil War, Confederate monuments are being destroyed. Now, why might this be a bad thing? Well, not only is it destruction of property for those doing it illegally, but it is very disrespectful to those generals. Now, I hate slavery, but the generals were indeed great and could have even won the war. And I say this a lot, hold on. Yeah, interjecting here. I don't think some of them might have been racist, but I don't think it's as racist as they thought they were. Like, Robert E. Lee, he was just fighting for Virginia. He didn't care about slavery, that I know of. Anyway, but they just want to forget the past, which is a horrible idea. For if you forget the past, it's bound to repeat, as the old saying goes. But they ignore this and do their illegal deeds. And if you disagree, they call it hate speech. But what is hate speech? Well, it's simple. If you have even an ounce of disagreement with them, anything said that doesn't agree with their tyrannical speech beliefs, it's hate speech. But they are for freedom of speech, just not hate speech. Which just goes to show that they know that they can't have their cake and eat it. If you are for freedom of speech, then you can't be against hate speech, because hate speech is against freedom of speech. Though, of course, there are limits on freedom of speech, such as shouting fire in a movie theater when there is none. And just because you can legally say racist or sexist comments doesn't really mean you should. My point is that while the left tries to bring down our country and what it stands for, the right, that it's conservatives and, in other ways, you could say even liberals, try and make it better. Now, the liberals are not the left, however, they are on the left side of the right-wing spectrum. Yet over time, the liberals and the left have become intertwined somehow. And they are now synonyms. The liberal is the left, and the left are liberals. I do not hate them because of my Christian beliefs, however, I cannot stand by and watch them tear down a nation. Our nation is nowhere near perfect, however, it is the best in the world, in my opinion. America. Okay, I just lost my spot. Yes. And our nation is flexible, because our founding fathers knew that the times would change, and under a constitution that can never be changed, tyranny would ensue. Yet they want to tear us down and install their own tyrannical government, because all they want is power. Now, this isn't an attack on the left. I'm simply stating what's wrong with them. Perhaps I give you information that you never heard before, or I change your mind, so that you, the audience, stand up against them, call them out in their action, rebut the leftists, YouTubers who spread false accusations, and do not always believe women because when they accuse someone of rape. That's actually a major problem. I probably shouldn't have just said hide this in the conclusion, but that's a major problem. Me Too is a major problem. Like, the idea is, innocent until proven guilty, not guilty until proven innocent. But Me Too is just like, screw that. The Whammon! You gotta believe the Whammon, guys. Anyway. Don't believe women, because they often ruin a man's life forever. And always remember when these controversies come up, like when these accusations and bad crap comes up, just sleep on it. And I think that's even what Steven Crowder says. Give it a day or two and don't be so quick to judge. Don't automatically believe what the news says. And actually, I just want to share this, but on my blog, I believe it's on my blog, but I have this quote by Thomas Jefferson. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, the man who reads nothing at all is better educated than the man who reads nothing but newspapers. And I think that's kind of true, because news is really biased these days. And I don't like it. Like, there's no really true source of news. Like, even say, oh hey, this man got run over by a car. It's going to somehow be politically motivated. Anyway, after you have all this information released, and hopefully it's unbiased information. At the time I'm just going to call myself naive. Probably won't be unbiased. And decide for yourself. So yeah, this is a speech as I said earlier, it's a speech I made like a long time ago. There's probably some things I could have fine-tuned in it. But yeah, the main points are there, and I mean, if anyone wants, I could just revise it later and have it be a better video. But anyway, so I'll put my blog down in the description below. Let's move that down, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I'll put my blog in the description below, and if you like this, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and remember, keep the comments civil. If you're going to comment at all, because I don't want you to be using ad hominems, which are bad, and they're a logical fallacy. So, peace.